My game-changing moment was years ago. I just got out of the Navy. I was in the Navy band. And when I got out of the band, I went to work up in the Poconos and the Catskills, because I was from Pennsylvania and I was planning to move into New York. And I worked with all the New York musicians up there. They'd come up weekends, and some guys worked there all week long too, some great players. And there was a guy named Dave Frischberg, a wonderful piano player, that said, hey, if you run down to the Half Note, a famous old jazz club in New York, Al Cohn and Zoot Sims, their drummer, Mousey Alexander, is leaving. A gig is gonna open. So I said, yeah, okay. So I went down to the Half Note to see if I could sit in and play with Zoot Sims, who was one of my idols, Zoot and Al. And I said, hey, Dave Frischberg told me to come down and maybe sit in and then hang out with you guys a little bit. He says, oh, any friend of Dave's is a friend of ours. What do you play? I said, I'm a drummer. He goes, I hate drummers. So he let me sit in that night, and I got the gig. And that turned into the house drummer at the Half Note, playing with Anita O'Day and Richie Kamuka and Bill Berry, all these greats. But what it did was open the door. Everybody said, who's the new kid in town? And they'd come down to hear the new kid playing with the old masters. And I started getting the recording work. And as soon as the recording work started to come in, it was a lot of records, a lot of TV commercials. Then Paul McCartney comes to town, and already I'm one of the top 10 guys in New York, and within a year or so. And Paul auditions the Happening drummers at the time, and he just liked me and hired me to do the Ram album. And so after the Ram album, my career was golden. You know, you work with a Beatle. The only thing it messes up is your jazz career. Kind of goes away when one Beatle will mess up your jazz career. And today I'm, you know, it's because of that Dave Frischberg saying, hey, Mousey Alexander's leaving, go down and audition, you get a gig. Not audition, sit in. I mean, the only thing I auditioned for was Paul McCartney, and I didn't know it was an audition. What happened was we had a service, radio registry, that used to call us and say, you've got a demo, a jingle, whatever, at such and such a studio. And I just had a cancellation on probably a TV commercial. And they said, but Barry Kornfeld wants you for a jingle, a demo for a jingle. And at the time I was so busy that I didn't really do demos. I said, well, I just had something cancel out, I'll go. Here it was in the basement of like a burned out building. And there was a guy sitting at a desk, I mean, no electricity or anything. And I said, is there a studio here? He goes, points to the basement. So I walked down in the basement with my two tom-toms, and there's Paul and Linda McCartney sitting there. I said, yo, you're Paul McCartney. He goes, yeah, I'm just here looking at some drummers. We're gonna make a record. Do you mind playing for me? I said, yeah. So he had a ratty old set of drums from SIR. And I said, what do you want to hear? And he said, well, just play some rock and roll time. I said, well, let me set my tom-toms up at least. So I put a couple of toms up, and I just went right into Ringo. I just went right into my Ringo act, and he liked my vibe, my playing, and hired me to do Ram. That was that.